teaches archaeology from his car. So I had recorded myself yesterday, just audio only, doing this rant about college, about how people these days do college so wrong and so poorly, right? And I'm just so sick of we, in the United States, how we keep re-upping this same incorrect thinking on how to play the college game. So if you want to know how to do college the right way, listen to this. For schools, they've been doing it wrong for decades, and I don't know why they won't get out of this shell. The first thing is that it's always a focus on the school. From preschool. What school can you get into? Oh my God. Oh, thank God. We're so blessed. Our child got into the right school. It takes the focus from the beginning off of the self. It doesn't matter what school you get into. It's your personal performance and what you do. It's up to you to use what's there at that school, what they have, to your own advantage, to be an active student, to learn a craft and get excellent at it. It's not the school. Oh, I can't stand it. It just got me thinking about how parents and kids are just programmed into a losing battle, losing money where they're going to pay a ton of money with the idea that the focus is to get into the school, and the focus is not on study while you're there. Focus on what do you want to major in, like prepping for the major, something on the flip side that's new that I could see as good is a high school student taking like a college class over the summer. I think that's great, to be like, hey man, here's what's coming. Not to go crazy and take 6 college classes before you graduate and all that. They go over the top with all this crap. But it's like, hey, 1 or 2 as a junior or senior. That we should not have this for 9th and 10th graders. Junior or senior. Take 1 or 2 college classes to see that world, where you go there too. And I'm bummed out at the whole online shit crap. The whole just online crap education. Believe me, our online class is good. No, they suck in comparison. I don't care whatever people tell you. I'm right. You know what I'm saying? I'm right. Online classes are crap. Online degrees are worthless junk. Yeah, I said it. So, why? Because I want to be honest with you guys. So, on ground, old school learning about what you're good at, keeping in mind the 2-stage approach that I always talk about, which is have a good feeling, a focus, learning on what you're good at and being able to expand what you are naturally talented with. And it's not even talent as much as what you're into and what you will work on. You're just like, that you're like a rabid dog at, that you just do and do and do and do and do. That's great. Do more of that. Lean in to what you're good at. So important, right? And what you want. That energy, that push. Do more of that. On the flip side, also think about reality. Like, what can I get a job in? What could I do? Something that you might also like. Like, a job doesn't have to be torturous. A job doesn't have to be terrible. But think job-minded too, where you have the secondary approach. Why I'm always such a huge fan of double majors. And get something like that. Dancing, which you've always loved, and air conditioning repair. Good for you. That's an interesting person. Do that. So few people do this. It drives me nuts. They just all get a single major in a place that's too expensive, where they just partied and had like no idea how to like apply themselves. They were weak. Yeah, I said it. And weak students just limp, you know? I don't know what to do. Well, other people do, and they're crushing you. That's the world, you know? So they've done like this half-assed degree where the grades are inflated, so they still ended up with a 3.5. And, you know, and they burned their parents' wealth and went into horrendous debt for some stupid, overpriced private college where you think the name matters and you don't even know jack shit anyway after it. So, like, what are you doing? Yeah, that film degree was really worth it, friend. Oh, God. But on the your center project really saved you there. Oh, my. I see them all, man. I see them all. Lemmings to the slaughter. Oh. And it's like there is so much possibility in America. America is freaking great country. You gotta know this. There is so much possibility there. For not much money, you can do this. Why not? Hear me out. Community college for the first 2 years where you try and find out what the hell you want to do, where you're paying nothing, so little, way less than the payment of your phone, like basically how much you spend on a phone. Like it's we're literally $40 a unit. Come on. So a class is like $120 plus a little bit, you know, and of course some books on top. Maybe $200, maybe $250 per class. You do that, what 3 classes a semester, $750, 4 classes, maybe a grand. Maybe a grand for a year, $2,000, full-time student, $2,000. Come on. So if you do it for 2 years, $4,000. If you do it for 3 years, like I recommend $6,000. $6,000 over 3 years. That's way, way less than even a car payment. It's like it's pocket change in terms of like what you're getting out of that. So, why not do that? And then transfer to a state school, or you see at that point, they won't even matter that much. But in terms of money, but a state school, that's the cheapest way out of all. And cheap doesn't mean bad. That's what so many idiots think in the school world, you know? Oh, but you only spent this much. Yeah, I got a deal. And well, you ruined your family's finances forever on some BS, you know? And what's even better still is that a lot of these high-end, very expensive private colleges have gone so far up, I believe the scientific term is the bunghole of academia, that they don't even teach real skills barely anymore. It's all about like theory, and dude, that doesn't get you anything, even in your chosen field. Like in archaeology. They're just going to tell you archaeology theory all day. You won't know how to dig a hole. It's pathetic. But that's what they do, because behind the scenes, which I know because I'm behind the scenes, it's much easier for the professors and stuff to run those kind of classes than take the hard way out, like your noble professor right here has, in terms of setting up like field projects and outdoor stuff and all that. That takes way more time. It's like, and it just takes a lot more effort. They don't do it. I do. And some of my colleagues too, especially at the community college level, do it. You know? Most of the projects, almost all, barring maybe one or two, most of the projects that are like mine are community college schools where you learn real skills. And this is not about, oh, you learn real skills and then you're just a worker bee. While the person who's learned just the theory, they're the person who tells you what to do. No. The person who learned just the theory doesn't have a job at all. And the people who have real skills move up and then they tell you what to do. And the people with all the theory degree, they just do nothing. Well, they think a lot. I know. Dude, prove me wrong. So, in terms of your college life, in terms of your freaking life, like, don't be afraid. I can't believe I have to say this. Don't be afraid to learn real skills. Don't be afraid to not dump your life finances into a degree that doesn't get you what you want. And it's hard because at 18, you have to make these like really, really hard decisions and know this kind of stuff. And nobody's telling you what I'm telling you, because they're just, look, I'm a host of the Pseudo-archaeology Podcast. I am not into crazy ideas. I'm not into fringe. I'm not into fringe theories, right? That is the antithesis of me. But there is sort of a collective agreement in this country on this wrong ideology. You can see it crumbling a bit, which is good. It's just starting. And to show that no, life is a secure, great life is not made just by going to a very expensive college. On the flip side, I am not a fan of saying don't go to college at all. I think that's a bad move. I think the good move is go to cheap college and be an active student and get out what you need. That is going to get you that's a good move, man. That will do you well, And if you get like these private colleges and stuff, if you get some sort of support, like if you can always apply. And if they get you some really, really sweet deal where you don't have to pay much or nothing at all, then that's great. Then you can go do that. But even those elite colleges, do they have what you want? Like even when I was young, even when I was like 20, like my second year in college or whatever, I'd be like in archaeology, I'd be like, I want to do it. I was a double major in archaeology and film. And in archaeology, I wanted to do archaeology. I wanted to go out on the digs and be a part of it. In film, I wanted to make movies. I wanted to write screenplays and do the active stuff. I always hated theory classes in both of them. I understand why they're around, but do they do too much of that in college these days? Oh, hell yeah. Right? They do all of that with no method, which becomes pointless. Because in order to even talk in a theoretical high-end way, you have to know what happens on the ground surface. And what's happened in universities, especially the elite ones, is they have divorced themselves from the ground they're literally jerking off just to it's theory on theory, which is called meta theory. Nothing to do with reality. And it's just sad and weird, and I don't want to be at that party. Ugh. So I'm only saying this because I want you to do well. I am dying for you to do well. I want things to go well for you. I swear to you, right? That's what I want. And I want your path to maybe be 2 ounces lighter than mine, because I lived this thing that I'm telling you, and it totally, totally worked out for me. And for years, I felt like it wouldn't. I felt like I was just in darkness, because I wasn't doing it right, quote unquote, right? I was doing it weird. That's the look I got from a lot of the more sort of, theoretical based professors or something like, what's he doing? He's doing it wrong. No, you're not. You're doing it right. And I got to say, a lot of the people who I was with as students at that time, they were not as successful as me. And it has to do with me being focused, me knowing what I want, me going after what I want, and me always getting more skills in what I want and pushing, right? I'm lazy in terms of I like watching TV and sitting on the couch, but I'm not lazy, if that makes sense.